Good morning, everybody. We are back. We are back. The show is called TBR SSF Show, which simply means the Big R Solution Sports Forum. It is myself and Thabinho. So many things are happening. Saddam, I don't know.
Ahamba stretch.
Maybe he has got in a wheelchair. We'll take a wheelchair, but before he plays, he said, I'm gonna use an ambulance this time. As the ambulance would have a by my hand, by his figure.
But now he's on a stretch. I stretch as video.
Yeah, now he's on a stretcher now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on a serious note, he told me that he's very busy with Safa. That was yesterday. So I hope he didn't sleep very late. So as a result, he's unable to come. You know, Saram likes doing the show, to be honest.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss it at all. He doesn't miss it. But see, I was one a stretch and I call a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, Thabinho, greet the viewers. Let's get started.
Morning to the viewers. Once again, it's an honor and a privilege.
Thabinho, the Pagania in the team, in the group. I want us to look at Pirates because we had so many things to talk about Pirates. And I know I was one of those people who are saying Dr. Ivan Koza is doing very well with the PSL. But when it comes to Pirates, I ask myself, question, what's happening? Because Pirates would be seen as a team that is limping. And when this coach came in, I said, gee, why this guy from Spain? And there's no other good guy that, I'm a local person. I'm always for the local guys and so on. But they've proved us wrong. Pirates is playing a very, very good football. But the signs were there. When they beat Sundowns, and they didn't beat Sundowns like, no, it was a chance. No. They beat them effectively. All right? So the signs were there. Now, I want to, as a Buccaneer, tell me, what do you think? What's happening? How did Pirates turn things around? We have been asking so many questions about Hoto and all that missing goals. And I remember I would ask Mandan guys, where are the goals? Why letting Muhango go if you don't have goals? Yeah, please come in. Just tell me what happened. This revolution at Pirates.
Look, Saubrey, I'm one of the people who has always been supporting, the appointment of this coach. I know he was called names and likes, and I had to remind some of the Buccaneers. Even if you can look at one of my recent Facebook post where I said, Buccaneers, prepare your apologies. You owe him an apology. You doubted him and he proved you wrong. Look, I have very, I trust Upra Ivan. He's a seasoned administrator. He's been around, and when he appointed Riveiro, I didn't doubt his decision. Although his record didn't say much, I was a bit skeptical, but I had to support the chairman. We started off, very slow. To be honest, we picked up late. Had this form kicked in, at the end of the first round would have given, Sundowns, a challenge. But I think for me, when I look at Riveiro and I look at Root Crawl, I pick up one common similarity there. They are more of disciplinarians. They don't have favorite players. And it's actually a bit confusing because if you can look at how Root Crawl, used to select his squad, no one was guaranteed selection. I mean, with Riveiro as well, whoever thought, Hoto will play, the back. You know, Paseka Mago have been a revelation. I have to be honest. You know, he carried the team on his shoulders. I really have to compliment the coach, you know, with the central defense partnership, Kakloki and CBC. Very solid. Very solid. He took a gamble.
Sorry to cut you. Talk is a jam.
Yeah.
Talk is a jam.
Yeah.
Yes.
And CBC is a very tough cookie. Very tough. He took a gamble with Uchain. You know, I was very nervous, you know, when Chain was introduced. But look, the boy has done well.
Now,
the boy has done well. Yeah. And I think the strategy of not guaranteeing players, you know, selection in the first starting lineup worked for him because everybody's hungry. When you get your chance, you need to perform, you need to prove to the coach, you need to convince him that he didn't make a mistake, you know, by putting you in the starting lineup. Losh has been out, you know, on a long-term, you know, injury. But we didn't miss him. Saling, you know, the least I said about Saling, the better. People who think I talk about Saling because he's a Pagania, but I'm looking at, you know, from Sundowns to Marumo Gallants, 1 to 16. I can't pick up any player who had a very best season like Saling. Saling had a very wonderful season. You know, he helped Pirates a lot. I mean, you know, for a midfielder to score 15 goals in all competitions, when strikers, you know, even struggle to score 10 goals. I mean, it says a lot coming from the middle field and scoring 15 goals in all competition. It says a lot about Saleh. He has done well, and I hope he carries that form into the next season, and I hope that doesn't run into his head. But you know what happened to Pirates? I think the coach, you know, didn't have his favorite players. Everybody was treated equally. Everybody was given a fair chance. You know, sometimes he would make a substitutes that I didn't like. You know, like the game against Chiefs. Remember what I said? He should when Shandu was taken out, he should have introduced Umunyani because it's like for like. But instead of putting Umunyani, he put in Uhoto, who's not a natural defender. But, you know, it worked out. You know, so he's one person that, you know, we will take time to understand, you know, his approach to the game. But for me, since his arrival at Pirates, he has done well, especially considering that it is his first season. I mean, you know, Ruud Krol won a treble, but it took him 3 seasons before he won a treble. First, second season, he struggled. He finished at position 2, and then he won the league at position 3. Here you have Riveiro, first season, MTN 8, waiting to beg in Nedbank Cup. He secured Champions League spot. For me, that's an achievement. Look, if we were to look at PSL awards, I don't know if I can quickly jump in there.
No, we'll go there. We'll go there.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing that I want to check, if I listen very well, I once listened to Jomo said, if you want to win the game, by that time he was the coach of Bafana. He said, close the back door.
Yeah.
You close the back door. You don't allow any goals coming in. 1-1. You are guaranteed at least of a draw of 0-0 if you don't score. All right.
Yeah.
So he said one battle has been won. Now you were telling me about the back line that Riveiro sorted out. I think same philosophy that he followed. And then you also touched on Saleh. Let me tell you what I've noticed about Saleh. Saleh is a great player. Why I say he's a great player, our players, South African players, they fail to understand that the game is not about scoring goals only.
Yes.
Assist is also important. Yes, in the past, the goals were something else. But now assist has become one of the most important element of the game. And now they've even included what you call assist to assist. That's how important assist is. Now, what differentiates Messi to the rest is this complete player. All right? He's not in the game to try to score all the goals. He's
not only looking at personal glory.
Yeah, he's in the game to contribute. Now, which brings me to an issue of player of the year.
Yeah.
I saw the last game. Look at the last game, what Saleng did. He contributed 2 goals. And then I think the first pass was a killer pass, which is the majority of our players in our country are lacking. Once they have the ball, they're in the kitchen, as Mike Williams would say, they want to score a perfect goal. That was the old type of football. All right? You must be a complete player. That's what I see with what you call Saleh. And then so and then for me, that contributed a lot. But we'll go back because I want us to look at the awards because I'm also looking at the time. Now let's go to Marumo Gallants. What would have been the problem? They've done very well, Marumo Gallants, and I asked the question on the Facebook, what lessons can be learned from this season? Why I'm saying this season, we had to wait until the last day. We're gonna go out. Any 3 or 4 teams would be relegated. All right? We had to wait till the last leg to see who's gonna occupy position 2. All right? So, and that shows that, okay, our football has improved. All right? The only department that still is to be worked out is the attendance. The attendance is still a problem. But with people, what I know with people, once they see a beautiful football, automatically they come. They will finally come. And people, I think they were voting with their feet because they were not happy with the kind of football that is being played. And as we were talking about Orlando Pirates, I think the signs were there when they beat Mamelodi Sundowns. Mamelodi Sundowns was you couldn't stop it. Now, what do you want to say about Marumo Gallants and Skukune? Just couple both the two.
Look, with Gallants, Brasobri, when you travel with your family, there's 5 people in the car. And there's one who crosses the roads, and if you try and avoid hitting that person, you're going to kill 5 instead of 1. So you need to sacrifice that one to save the lives of the 5 who are in the car. So what I'm getting at is Marumo Gallants should have done introspection and say, look, we need to sacrifice the Confederations Cup so that we can focus on consolidating our status, in the PSL. Those kind of games, you plan for those kind of games. They should have learned a lesson from Sundowns and Pirates. Sundowns and Pirates are going back to Champions League next season. Wait and see the window period when it opens. Pirates and Sundowns are going to just go crazy, signing players. And they're not going to sign players because they want to sign players. They're signing players because they want to beef up. They need to have the depth. Because remember, this traveling, especially when you come from Africa, it's a bit of a challenge. Because when you go to West Africa, you need to go and connect either in Germany or in Belgium before you go to Nigeria. So there's fatigue, there's jet lag, there's injuries, there's suspension. And I think Marumo Gallants don't have the depth that, Sundowns and Pirates have. Pirates and Sundowns, as we speak now, Pirates is not playing in continental tournament, but they have the depth. So Gallants, took a gamble. They had, limited resources, and they wanted to push. I think they were looking at the prize money that is offered, in the Confederations Cup, and forgot, the bigger picture, and they had to pay, the ultimate price. They are gone now. I think it was a poor decision from management. For me, they didn't have a priority. The priority should have been the league. Like I previously said in one of our games, to say teams should have learned from Cosmos. I remember in 1990, was it 1993, when they were first relegated. When they were first relegated, they played they played to the semis of the Cup Winners' Cup, and when they opened their eyes, they were sitting in the relegation zone. Boom, Cosmos was gone. Gallants should have learned from there to say, look, this is not important. I'm going to bow out of this competition and go back to the PSL, consolidate, and then, I can beef up my team so that when I qualify for the next, edition of the CAF tournament, at least I've got depth.
What about the element, sorry to cut you short, what about the element, the rumors that we saw that the players were complaining that they were not given the bonuses? And I know Marumo Gallants came with a strong statement to say, no, that is not the case. No one was promised anything and so on. Don't you think that, as part of incentive, did play a major role in this thing?
Look, for me, I think that could have been negotiated, outside the public space. But for me, I think the factors that I mentioned, fatigue, jet lag. I mean, you've traveled yourself. If you spend a lot of time, on the road, you spend a lot of time, in the air, and with players. Players are human; they get tired. The suspensions, there's injuries, and if you don't have the depth, it's actually going to work against you. For me, the issue of bonuses, it's a non-issue. It's something that we can negotiate. We can still negotiate. Sit down and say, let's play. We'll talk about money. But I think what killed them a lot, it's that they didn't have enough depth.
Now, let me ask this. Do our teams, officials, players, everyone, especially officials, do they look to the history and try to learn from the history? I'll tell you why. We went to France in 98. Why we lost there? Jomo said we lost because the issue was about money. Lucas Hadebe was there. Sorry about this. Lucas Hadebe was there. They were at the forefront. They call an urgent meeting, and then I think it was Jomo who broke the peace. Now, don't we learn? And then I think, if I remember quite well, it was said, going forward, I think it was Dr. Ivan Koza who said that in one of the trip going. He said, let's talk. If you remember quite well, I don't know whether it was a fan. He said, let's talk before we go, guys. Let's agree before we go. We don't want to see the surprise that we saw in 1998. So, do they learn? This is the question that I was asking. And unfortunately, no one was answering me on our Facebook page to say any lessons to be learned out of this. So a problem of Marumo Gallants, that's how it should have been dealt with right from the beginning. Deal with it. Let's negotiate. Let's come up with strategies. I'm sure we can learn a lot from Mamelodi Sundowns, or maybe it's because the pocket is big at Mamelodi Sundowns. They don't have such problem. But, history is important. Learn from others. But let's move on. Mamelodi Sundowns, what do you think, what happened? Because let me tell you, I was crossing fingers for Mamelodi Sundowns to win. The reason is one, You know, South Africa is a big country. We are big in all respects. We lead AU. Remember AU? Now I'm talking political.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a limping and dying. It was revived by the leadership in South Africa.
Yeah.
The former President Thabo Mbeki, Zuma, I think is one of the popular leader in Africa. Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. It was revived. It was revived. You know, the relationship was revived. And we know that these things do happen. Now, yeah, this is the question that I'm asking Mamelodi Sundowns. If we watch their game, what happened? Some people are asking that maybe experience came into the picture. Lack of experience was a contributing factor. I want to hear your opinion.
I wouldn't blame lack of experience. Sundowns have been there. They know how to win it. They know how to go through all the way. For me, I think emotions got better of them. They considered, you know, that Imvala goal came on the 82nd minute. I think they were already in a celebrating mood. They lost focus. Mvala was not under any pressure to rush into that ball. He could have controlled that ball and you know take safety options. Like he wanted to take safety options, but you know he didn't give the ball the correct direction. I'm not blaming experience, Saubrey. I refuse to blame experience. You know, when you talk about experience, you can talk about Marumo Gallants, you can talk about Sikukuni, but you cannot talk about experience when you talk about Kaizer Chiefs, Pirates, and Sundowns. They've been there. They know how challenging the environment is, the pressure that comes with playing in the CAF competition. For Sundowns have got resources. They can simply get as a sports psychologist to deal with these boys mentally. For me, it was just emotions. They were already celebrating.
I wish Shakes was here so that he can also give us his opinion. I'll tell you why. Other people are saying experience was a killer. Once they were leading 2-1, they were supposed to manage the game. How do you manage the game? If it was Onyango, people are saying it was Onyango, he was going to go down, kill the minutes, and then he was not going to rush. And then some people are saying, had OJ been there, OJ would relax, not rush the ball, And then if you remember a player like Tso Vilagazi, who didn't rush the ball, guys, let's pass each other. If you look at Barcelona, Pep Guardiola, the last game, he saw that now, you know what, we need to control the ball. I think they have about 15 touch rule. That's Barcelona. I mean, Man City. Before it can reach the goals, they make sure that at least they've done 15 touches. That's how you kill the game. That's how you keep the ball, possession of the ball. Don't rush. I think they wanted to kill the game. So that's where the issue of experience came into picture. They wanted to kill the game. They wanted to go for the killer and finish it. But let's move on quickly. Who's going to be the coach of the season? Who's going to be the player of the season?
Look, I'm a Buccaneer.
Yeah.
I've mentioned Saleh. 15 goals in all competitions from a middle fielder. Countless, I'm not quite sure with his assists, but there's a lot of assists that he has done. He has been consistent. I don't want to judge him with the derby. The derby was too heavy for him. But besides the two derbies, he has done well. I mean, the last one, the first goal, he was a supplier. Okay. For me, player of the season, Monna Pule Saleng. Coach of the season, Riveiro. He has done so well. First season, unknown, labeled, but he had his mental strength that, you know, people are calling me names, but let me move on and focus on what I'm doing. I still have that video clip where he says, you know what, call me names, but I'm here to do what I'm employed for.
Yeah.
And he has done that. He has done that, and I'm expecting Uma Zola, Machola, to come out and apologize, because he's the one who asked that question. I'm just wondering where he is now. Is he still going to? I'm going to engage him on Twitter. Okay. I'm going to engage him on Twitter to say, this is your clip.
Yeah.
Now you need to interview the coach and apologize.
Yeah.
It takes a man with, you know, with real guts, you know, to say I'm sorry. He needs to do that. But I think Riveiro and Saleng for me.
Yeah. Now let's move on. English Premier League. Do you say Arsenal, it was lack of experience or game management? Because look at how Man City, the last 2 months, that's when they started to get the momentum. And Guardiola, whenever he's been asked questions, he continued to respect opponents. He continued to say, you know what, anyone can win. Because if you have a person, you know, one of my favorite person when it comes to interviews is Coach Thabo Zondo. Thabo Zondo is very diplomatic. I like his interviews. He's very diplomatic. Diplomacy is important, and that's what Pep is doing.
Yeah.
Pep is not creating pressure for himself. He's not creating pressure for his players.
His players, yeah.
By always trying to say, look, you know, the opponent, for instance, he was praising Arteta, but he knew what he had. And the good thing about Pep, just like you said about Riveiro, he didn't have a star. The players wouldn't know. And I listened to one of the articles, I think, or interview. He said, when they asked him, said, when the player said, Coach, am I going to say, yes, you're going to play? All of them, when they asked, he said, yes, you're going to play. Oh, yes, you're going to play. You wouldn't ever say you're not going to play. He said, come the game time. The very same player that I say is going to play, I don't play him. So that was his approach, you know. So you think they are deservedly winners? And I think that's one topic that we need to deal with probably next week, because they are on the verge of getting the treble. I want to hear what you say.
You know, Pep has been there. Pep has done it before with Barcelona. Pep, you know, he has been around. Seasoned coach. He knows how to win the league. I think Arteta, you know, there was a time where they played a lot of draws. I think that let them down. Those games they should have won and consolidated their position on top. You see, the other problem, Saubrey, is you can't be on position one for a very long time because everybody wants to take you down. It only happens in South Africa where one team would just, you know, Sundowns would just sit there and, you know, teams below them, they lose and all those kind of things. In Europe is different. Even Leicester City, I call those smaller teams, I call them, you know, party spoilers. But like you said, you know, it's a discussion for another day. But I think, you know, the experience Pep had worked in his favor. And Arteta lacked experience of how to win it. Pep have done it. He's a great coach.
A quick one. Somebody was asking, should Man United be worried about losing players? Bernardo Silva, Haaland, and so on. Somebody said they shouldn't be worried. They should be worried about losing Pep Guardiola. He said if they lose Pep, Pep can get any player and make him a star. So yeah, maybe that's the point. Let's go to La Liga. As I say, I don't know whether people learn or not. You know, I'm impressed by this guy, John Laporta. But one day I will share the story of Barcelona at some point. How did John Laporta came into leadership? You know, John Laporta, this guy, you know, yes, of course, there was problems in terms of finances, and then he tried to sort those issues up. Although he has sold, you know, the assets of the team, but that was the way to go about. And I want to couple that with the rumor that I picked up, and I'm very disappointed if it's true. They say Caliph, the president of PSG, he wanted to apparently approach Lewandowski. Say, look, I'm going to give you money. And he offered him a lot of money so that Lewandowski, it's a rumor, all right? Let me repeat it.
Yeah.
All right. If you can leave from Barcelona and join a PSG, and then I'm going to make you rich. You know, if that is the case, that is a low blow for Caliph, because apparently they say he's blaming Barcelona, that Messi leaves because of them. And if that is the case, he is wrong. He is the one who created that problem. The mistake that he did, he made a mistake by giving Mbappe at his age that you lead the team, right?
Yeah.
You lead the team, you take penalties, you decide who's coming in. If that is true, also remember that is also a rumor.
Yeah.
That is true. He is the one. The truth, the people are saying, in reality, the ultra-right are not really against the players. They are fighting the management, especially the Qatarians who bought the team, because they feel that they just bring stars, all right, instead of focusing on local players and develop them. And then do just like what Barcelona did with La Masia. One day when I talk about Barcelona, I'll show you how Barcelona made money out of La Masia. They said that should have been the focus. Now, the president wanted to divert the attention from the pressure from him by using Messi as a scapegoat. Because this thing of suspending Messi, that's backfired. And days are coming close. That reality is going to be there. Messi is going to leave. Whether he like it or not, he's going to leave. Players of Barcelona, they've come out openly. Your Pedro and everything, they say we are waiting for him. Your Lewandowski, they say we are waiting for him. So I want people to learn, you know. You may think that this is happening in France, but you can also, it's not about money all the time. It's not about money all the time. It has everything to do with everything. I don't know. Do you want to say something there? I've shown
Look,
Kimmich. Apparently, Kimmich may join Barcelona. Apparently, Kimmich is the one who wants to join Barcelona, not the other way around. Yeah,
that's nice. Yeah. Look, you know, I think you have covered it well. You know, for me to add or minus would just spoil, you know, the good points that you have mentioned. Yeah, Brasovri, can you hold on a second? I think my alarm went off.
no,
can
that's
hear
fine. That's fine. I'll be moving on. Continue with whatever that you do. We are going towards the closure now. Kimmich, it has been said. Attend the alarm. It's fine. Attend the alarm. It has been said. It has been said. Kimmich may join Barcelona very soon. And then initially we thought that Barcelona are the ones who want Kimmich. But now, according to Gerard Romero, remember this is one of the very, very reliable journalists, especially on when it comes to Barcelona news. Everybody follows Gerard Romero, just like Fabrizio Romano. but he's more reliable, especially with the Spanish football, especially with Barcelona news. He says the Kimmich camp are the ones who approach Barcelona to say, look, we want to, we are thinking of coming, are you interested in getting Kimmich? And I know that Messi is one of those players who has always wanted that Kimmich can join Barcelona. Messi always wanted to play with Kimmich, and Kimmich is a very quality player, and Barcelona has always been struggling with you know, position two. You know, this guy has really killed them. What is his name? Say it again. Dani Alves. And I don't know whether people are aware that Messi is on the verge to be the only player who has won more leagues than more titles in professional football. And we know that it was Dani Alves. And then they're on the verge of winning that next week, Saturday. Only a draw. They need a draw. If they win, it will be a bonus. They need a draw. And once they get a draw, the league is wrapped up. So you would have won the title. Now, I'm already gone to the Messi Special. I see that Thabinho got cut. Otamendi, which is an Argentinian Messi teammate, this is what he said on the World Cup. And I think he was correct by saying this. He said, you know, he has done a tattoo of Messi, as you can see here. The way they respect this guy. He has done a tattoo on his body, on Lionel Messi. And then he said, this was to thank him for what he did for me in the final. Remember Otamendi cost Argentina a goal. He said, by helping us to win the World Cup, I wonder where would I be had we lost, because I contributed to that. So that's Otamendi. That's the respect that Lionel Messi willed. And now this one is very, very shocking, because it comes from the source that you never thought. This is Bernardo Silva. And I don't know how the relationship of Bernardo Silva and Ronaldo gonna pan out. Because Ronaldo doesn't take it very light if you put Messi ahead of him. Bernardo Silva said, I said to Messi when we played against PSG, I said, Leo, in Portugal, we hate you a bit because of your figure, because of how you are, because of how you walk. The truth is that you have surprised me because I found you to be different. You know, this is a respect. And remember, not long ago, he was saying, what is his name? He was saying, Bernardo Silva, that you know, if you who's gonna win the Ballon d'Or? He said, no doubt, it has to be Lionel Messi, the winner of the Ballon d'Or. And that is why I say, I wonder how Ronaldo's gonna take it. I just want to tell you this quickly. And then I took this information from Talk FCB, and then from Talk FCB. So I wanted to recognize that. And then if you want to learn more about the Big R, or TBR, as we call it, call ourselves now, go to our website, which is www.tbr.solutions. S at the end of solution. www.tbr.solutions. There is no .co.za. Okay? Thank you very much. I really appreciate. I appreciate to all those people who follow us, those people who subscribe, and those people who comment. I thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is the Saubrey Boyz Walefatshe from a TBR Solution. TBR Solution is a financial company that helps people to be financially savvy. I'm sure these days you are aware that prices are very up in terms of petrol, in terms of goods and services. Prices are very, very high. Now, these days, we are on a campaign to help those members of GPF or government employees especially if you are 55 years old or above and you are contemplating to resign or go on pension in 3 months' time. Give us a call or drop us a WhatsApp, then we'll call you back so that we help you to get your money expeditiously, as compared to sometimes people get their money after a long time. We will then transfer your money from GPF to Allen Gray, whom we have a relationship with. And the good news is, once the money has been transferred, you will choose how much you want to earn. If you happen to pass on, your spouse will also get the same amount. Then if it happens that both of you passes on, you would have appointed or selected beneficiaries. It could either be your children or anyone else. And there's nothing like age limit that they must be 22 or below. Even if they're above 22, they'll be able to get the inheritance from you. So that's how flexible it is. And then I know that sometimes people, they worry about medical aid and all that. We also have with other partners who assist you to get a medical aid. So if you want to learn more and get more information pertaining to that, just drop us a WhatsApp. We'll therefore come back to you. I thank you.